Hey, so I know people were wondering about like when I was gonna drop my Odyssey review. I did talk about the Odyssey on stream after I first saw it, but then I saw it a second time and I think my thoughts are a little better. I was really worried about like spoilers and like how to talk about it in that video, so I think this is let me just record something off stream, okay? I'll start off non-spoilers. This movie's incredible. The movie's incredible. It was announced so long ago, the cast was announced so long ago that like, so many things happened in the real world and in life that I just stopped thinking about it. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, the Odyssey's out now. So the first time I saw it with my mom. Really happy I got to have that experience with her. It was great. It was fucking great. The Odyssey is everything that you've ever heard it is. It is a huge adventure film. It is long. It doesn't feel that long. It like the length of the movie to me is like it's something satisfying. It's like, I don't know, it just feels like really meaty. It just feels like a really big meal. Oppenheimer was long in the way that it was like, I don't know what the end point of this story is, but in Odyssey, you know the entire goal of Odysseus, so you know what you're heading towards. And even seeing the movie a second time, it was like it still felt like I know that this is working towards something that's worth this much time. This movie has monsters and magic and sorcery and mythology and gods. It has fucking bloodshed, fucking slaughter. It has betrayal. It has deceit. It has evil. It has everything. It has everything, man. The cast is absolutely amazing. It's the cinematography is amazing. Just the way that the colors look is incredible. I love this movie. I love this movie. I don't care what anybody says. I've gotten to see it a second time. I really love this movie. If you are watching this and you haven't seen it yet, the only thing I would warn you about is it gets kind of loud. You've probably seen some memes about this by now, but it's not a game. It's not. Listen, Poseidon is real. Okay, that motherfucking Cyclops. Loud. I mean, it's a Cyclops in a cave. It gets loud. I don't know what else to say that's non-spoiler review. Like it's great. Everybody's great. All the actors do a really great job. Matt Damon, I've always liked Matt Damon. Did a great job. Fucking Anne Hathaway, great job. I don't know what else I can say that's non-spoiler. Just you just go see the movie. Just take my word for it. The second time I saw the movie, I took a friend of mine, and watching her have that like click of like, okay, I get it now. This is incredible. Just go see it. Okay, now I'm gonna get into spoilers. Let me talk about like my favorite parts of this movie. The scene in Hades. For some reason, the scene in Hades, I love that. I love the way people are talking to each other in Hades. I don't know why. Something about it is just so satisfying. And all of the Elliot Page's character dies so soon. Sinon, that's one of the easier to remember names. Sinon dies immediately in this movie. And I thought that Sinon was like a cameo, I guess, and I was really upset about that. So for Sinon to be able to confront Odysseus in hell, and some of the things that Sinon says to Odysseus in hell, they hit so hard. There was a quote that was something like many victims of your campaigns walk these shores. Oh, that's crazy. That the scene in Hades is so good. It hits so hard. After Odysseus talks to Agamemnon, and then all these new soldiers start coming through the fray, and Odysseus is like, "What's that?" And the fucking creepy dude on the ground is like, "These are all the soldiers that you didn't bury." And they also start chasing this crew. And then you recognize some of those soldiers. Like you recognize the guy that got killed by the Cyclops. You recognize the black guy. It's literally the soldiers that you didn't bury. It's the dead that you didn't honor. Now they're chasing you out of hell. The music that's playing when they get chased out of hell it's really fucking haunting. And the looks on the faces of the soldiers as they are on the boat heading away from those shores. One of the soldiers is screaming like, "Are those our friends?" I think that's what he was saying. I think he was saying like, "Are those our friends?" And another guy is like holding him. Like that's just it fucking rips your heart out. What's another great sequence? The Cyclops. I love that the Cyclops. You know what's funny? I didn't know going in this movie that it would be bouncing around to all these different things. I thought like the Cyclops was like the big baddie of the story because I didn't read the book. And I think I'm probably not the only one who may have gotten that like that thought, but the fact that the Cyclops sequence happens really early in the story is great. I had that feeling the first time I watched the movie, that feeling of like when they're following the sheep and then they find the mouth of the cave. I'm like, I felt so uneasy because I thought the Cyclops was already in the cave. And then when they go in, they find the cheese and they're talking, their voices are echoing, and I'm like uneasy. And then you see the Cyclops come in afterwards and close the rock behind them, and then it's dark in there. And my mom leaned over and was like, "Did it just close the door?" the physical look of the Cyclops, it's makes you really uncomfortable. I also forgot that the Cyclops was the son of Poseidon. I completely forgot that. But I think that whole sequence is incredible. Everything makes sense. It's easy to follow along. And when they blind the Cyclops and it's laying on the ground just moving around and screaming in agony. When I saw it the second time, my friend next to me was like, she was trying to make herself as small as she could in her chair, trying to get away from this noise. The screams of the Cyclops wrap all the way around you, and it is a sound that I've never heard before. And then afterwards, when the Cyclops is crying to Poseidon, they blinded me, Father, they blinded me. Vengeance for me, vengeance for me. Oh, peak! It's peak! And then the Cyclops chases them down through the forest, and you just see like the silhouette through the trees. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know. It's hard to cover everything. It's a long movie. A lot of things happen. It has a lot of components. I should say the music is really good. There's a lot of really haunting parts of the score. But I think my favorite part is the first like telling of the fall of Troy, from John Bernthal's character to Tom Holland's character. The first half of explaining like what that was like, that really long drawn out like drumming that's happening, that's like slowly speeding up, that I feel like that's something that Ludwig Göransson does very, very, very well. Suspense, long drawn out suspense. I think the scene on the island with the giants is really fucking funny. I don't know how. It's just something about how the giants came around the corner and there was no talking. Immediately just started killing people, throwing people through trees, like just, whole lot of gang shit was happening over there. And honestly, I get it, because what the fuck are y'all doing here? The scene when they got back to the beach and like all of the soldiers were running back to all the boats, and you can see Odysseus in the front running faster than everybody, but like really running, not like movie theater serious running, but like, like fuck, like let's get out, like it was so funny to me. They weren't running like heroes. They were running like they were shitting themselves. And it was really good. The whole sequence with Cersei was incredible. I was not expecting Cersei to turn them back into humans. I did not think that was going to happen. I thought Odysseus was going to kill Cersei. But I like how they kind of draw out and the reveal of what Cersei is doing. It's really disturbing in a great way. And Cersei gives them the directions to go to Hades, and she tells him like, not all of you are actually, you're the only one that's going to make it back. And then they get to Hades, and Hades is just, it's the best. And I should say also, I love the way that Christopher Nolan edits his films. I know a lot of people really don't like it. I've always liked it. It's funny. The scene where Matt Damon is laying on those steps and he's looking up at this burning horse, I lost count. Both times I saw the movie, I lost count of how many times they show that flashback. It's funny how repetitive that was shown until the very last scene of the movie where they show what he's looking at. But I like how Christopher Nolan cuts back and forth through time, sometimes with audio, sometimes without, in the middle of conversations. I love it. It just makes words hit so hard. When Penelope is trying to convince Odysseus like not to go, and she's like, let's just escape, let's just run away with your best ship and your brightest crew, and escape to try to chase the escaping sun or something, and showing the ship, the crew, the two of them, the sun, right? It just makes it takes the work off of me to imagine what she's imagining and show it to me instead. But the entire sequence in Hades, it hit so hard, because I was really happy to see Sinon again, and to feel some of Sinon's sense of betrayal and rage and just disappointment and all of that. You feel like Sinon was bearing the feeling of all of these soldiers. What I didn't internalize the first time I watched the movie was that the war was 10 years long. I didn't realize when Matt Damon said, when Odysseus said 10 years on this fucking beach, because he said fucking, and I thought that was funny, but I didn't internalize that they were fighting this war for 10 years. They spent 10 years trying to break the walls of Troy. I didn't realize how many people had died and how devastating this war had been for so long, and that's why Odysseus had to come up with this plan of the Trojan horse. Something random that I thought about while I was watching this is just a random thing that all of the scenes that take place indoors at night, I think about like what life must have been like for the only light source at night to just be flames, you know? Like, you can really feel that. Like, I have seen people say the movie's a little too dark, it's hard to see things. It's dark and hard to see because it's dark and it's hard to see. And the only way to see anything is to light something on fire. So the colors of a lot of these nighttime indoor scenes, it's just black and orange. And I don't know, I just think like that must have been what it was like not just on this part of the world, but like everywhere. Like this is how you saw people when the sun went down. I guess that brings me back to talking about like what was happening, you know, back in the castle and all of that. Robert Pattinson's character, Antuus something. The best line in the whole Odyssey is give Antinous back his shame. Oh my God. Seeing the movie the second time, I really noticed how much Antinous kept repeating the same lie to so many people. You know, I wanted to go with him, but he wouldn't let me. I wanted to go with him. We would have followed him into Troy, but he wouldn't let some of us go, you know? Because he knew how important we were to Ithaca, blah, blah, blah. He kept repeating the same bullshit to everyone. Great character. And, you know, there is great foreshadowing very early in the movie from John Leguizamo's character when he says, like, you know, they're all bullies and cowards. Oh, this movie, there's actually just too much to talk about. Oh, my God. Anne Hathaway's performance is just, it's great. It's great. And I really do like, you know, when she finally has this kind of outburst against her son, she says, like, yeah, because only a man can sit on the throne. Everybody keeps whining and bitching about how, you know, Ithaca is a kingdom without a king. You know, somebody has to take over. Somebody has to sit on the throne. That empty throne that I've been sitting on for 20 years. I've been sitting on that empty throne for 20 years. My expertise, you know, because she's very right to be so irritated that everybody keeps calling it an empty throne. Who's been sitting on that empty throne? The second best scene in the whole movie, and I am gonna jump around because I just don't know how not to jump around. I mean, maybe it's not the second best. Maybe it's actually the best scene in the movie is when Odysseus, posing as Sinon, speaks to Penelope through that like little gate thing. You know how good of an actor you have to be to convey that much emotion when I can barely see your face? And I'm talking about Penelope. I'm talking about Anne Hathaway. The way that she says, "You're the men from the sea." Peak. But seeing what happened in Troy, seeing the second half of what happened, because when you see the first half, it's like you're rooting for them. You know, if you feel the momentum, you're along for the ride. You're rooting for this thing to work. But the second half, it just feels completely different. It feels and sounds completely different. By the way, I heard a theory that the scream from Oppenheimer of the little girl is in the Odyssey. I think I heard it. I think I know what people are talking about, but I have to go see the movie again to triple check. Seeing the second half, like the full drawn out what happened in Troy in the later part of the movie is it's really overwhelming. And not in like a, you know, it made me cry. It's just like it's just emotionally just too much to handle. It's I mean like it's overwhelming to the senses. It's just fire and slaughter and everything crumbling and you feel the weight of these buildings just falling to the ground and it's just screaming and killing and this thick wave of soldiers marching through the city and it's like you can feel the hatred. You can feel that's all you feel is just I think Odysseus said something like, what if when he saw 10 years of hate pour into that city? And that's what it feels like. It feels like hatred pouring on top of you. It's like you know if you did big wave surfing, when a wave actually like hits you, the weight of that water sends you to the bottom of the water. And then when Odysseus looks over and sees Athena crying and they hold hands, it just peak. We brought a gift and they took it into their home as a peace offering. And then this is what we did to them. The last scene after, you know, they kill the sun god's cattle and, you know, they have to deal with the utter wrath of Poseidon and the hand of Zeus. It hits you like a train. It's overwhelming. It's funny because we've watched them sail through storms already. We have watched them like take this ship to so many places. We've watched the ship get damaged before and then be able to still sail the ship to where they're going. So when the scene starts, it's like they're trying to just battle through the storm. But once they lose their grip on everything they're supposed to be holding on to and shit starts breaking and it becomes clear, like it's literally pointless. I don't remember Himesh Patel's character, but I think his best part in the whole movie is when he's screaming out, like I think he says pray for mercy, pray to Poseidon, pray for mercy, and he's screaming, and then like you see the soldiers like just holding each other, just crying, and Odysseus is so traumatized, he's like, I don't know what happened to them. Calypso's like, yeah, you do, you know exactly what happened to them. And then there's the big finale, the big finale. Actually, before I talk about that, I do have to talk about Agamemnon, because it's so funny how obsessed like TikTok is with Agamemnon. I am too, don't get me wrong. The armor is peak. So cool. And it's also so cool that they don't shy from trying to make Agamemnon look like a villain, like a super villain. And then rewatching the movie, when you listen early to Odysseus explaining to Penelope why Agamemnon is doing this, right? This is a war of his ambition. The exposition is subtle in the beginning because it's quick, but everything is there. You can understand everything in the beginning of the movie, but it's very subtle. And I think it's subtle on purpose. Agamemnon doesn't speak until you see him in Hades. Other than that, he's just like, you know, looking at people, hugging Odysseus, and then walking away. Like, that's it. But I think it's funny that, like, I've seen a lot of edits on TikTok of that character, and they're all using like the same like 2 or 3 shots from the trailers because there's nothing else available. But, you know, the surprise of seeing Agamemnon in Hades, and even just like the reveal of how he floats like towards Odysseus, when Odysseus finally gets back to Ithaca and, you know, goes and meets his son at the temple and saves him, then the tone of the movie just changes. Actually, you know when it changes is when he's leaving John Leguizamo's you know, home, and he says like, you know, I'm bringing it all. After that point, the tone completely changes, and then he just becomes the mysterious figure in the cloak, the mysterious wanderer, you know, that everybody underestimates. Who doesn't love that character in fantasy? Who doesn't love that character? That's straight out of Lord of the Rings, which is straight out of the Odyssey. And you could really feel like Matt Damon milking it, but it's like, y'all, we've been on this really fucked up journey. I think you've earned the right to just milk this reveal. I did think it was odd that Penelope wouldn't immediately recognize the voice of her husband. I felt the same way about John Leguizamo's character. Like, how would you not immediately recognize his voice? But yeah, the whole thing about Zeus's law and welcoming people, you know, and showing people respect because they might be gods in disguise. When Robert Pattinson is like, making fun of him, teasing him, like, "Are you a god? Are you a god? What's your name?" Sinon. Peak. And then the other character that's like his homie kinda is like, Xenon. And then the payoff of the final whole thing, and it just made sense. Everything made sense. Tom Holland's character, you can't get involved in any of this because Zeus's law, but me, I can kill everybody here. I don't even want to be here anymore. And he just fucking kills everybody. And, you know, yeah. And then like while he's killing everybody, the other people are like kneeling to him. It's peak. Tom Holland's character kills that one guy with the same move that he practiced against Mentor. It was the exact same motion. Antinous, like just hiding behind a pillar, screaming at everybody else. That could have come off really goofy, but you can see how kind of deranged he is. And that's how cowards are when shit gets real. They freak the fuck out. Like, he's not back there kind of laughing and pointing. Like, he's not having a good time. He's shitting himself because he's a coward. Great movie. Great movie. Talking about it, I want to watch it I want to watch it again. Incredible third act. It was great. It was great. Music was great. I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, maybe there is if I watch it a third time. Maybe I'll think of more stuff to say, but it's really good. I think it's really funny that the first face you see in this movie is Travis Scott. That's Lupita Nyong'o is absolutely beautiful, and anybody who says she's not is a liar. I will say, I think the one person that looked the most out of place in this whole movie was Calypso. That's Charlize Theron, right? Like, there's a scene where she's watching Odysseus wander around and collect pieces of the boat, and she's wrapping herself in this piece of cloth, but the cloth very clearly has this printed like brown stuff on it, and it just looks out of place. I also wish the design of that like multi-headed monster, I forget the name of it. I do wish I could have seen it a little bit more. Oh, you know what I didn't even talk about? The sirens. I completely forgot about the sirens. Great scene. Great scene. Okay, I talked about the sirens. No, I think that was really well done. There's lots of different ways to do a scene with, sailors and sirens. There's lots of ways to do it. I like that the sirens, you could only kind of make them out from a distance. Like you can clearly see these naked women on these rocks from super far away. But I like that you don't if you show the sirens up close, then you don't feel like there's anything pulling you. It has to be something that's far away to feel like there's something that people want to go reach. The music is great. It's very simple. It's very haunting. It's very uncomfortable. I think it's an interesting choice by Matt Damon specifically to have this attitude of like, yeah, I'm going to be the first. You can see this kind of smirk on his face, and everybody else is like, okay, whatever, dude. You're having like way too much fun in this fucking movie. We're all going through a lot right now. But yeah, sure. You want to be the first. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. You can see how fed up Himesh's character is. But then, when he turns around and then he sees like what actually happens to Odysseus, you can see his curiosity. And, when he's asking afterwards, like, what was that? Like, what was it like? I like that shift of like, going from like, I'm so fucking fed up with you and your curiosity, but then at the same time being like, so what happened? And it's also so goofy for Odysseus to be screaming like a child, and then this one guy to just be like, why? But yeah, I mean, that covers like all the biggest stuff of the movie. I'm pretty sure it lived up to my expectations as somebody who'd never read the book and only had a very vague understanding of what Troy was and what the point of the horse was and all that, but like had no familiarity with the characters and their relationships with one another. I learned a lot. And I know that there are deviations from the original story. I know that. But guess who's not going to read the original story? That's all my thoughts for now on this movie. I'm excited to watch it a third time with a new person who hasn't seen it yet. I can't wait. And then Spider-Man Brand New Day, at some point I got to go see that too. So thank you for watching, and bye.